This is a special day for Pilgrim, amen? A day in which we remember that where 2 or 3 are gathered, cuando hay 2 o 3 reunidos, Dios estará entre ellos. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, there Jesus is among them. So right there, that makes for a special day. And yet there's more. We get to celebrate Mackenzie's baptism today. We get to celebrate the chance all of us have to remember our baptism, or for any of those who are not baptized, to contemplate that possibility, to be renewed in our relationship with God and with one another. For in baptism, we are reminded that whether it's 10 minutes or 10 years from now, God's love is not generic. Love doesn't exist in the generic, at least God's love. God exists in the specific, moment by moment, person by person, relationship by relationship. Anakari, my wife, who knows Anakari? Raise your hand, most people. I always like when people meet her before they meet me. It always goes better for me. If I were to come home after a long day at work, not that Pilgrim gives me long days. They're all very short and easy. No, I'm just kidding. I love what I do, and I love being here with all of you. But if I come home from work, I see my wife, I take her by the hands, and I say, Anakari, I love women. How do you think that would go? Not that well, right? No, what does she need to hear? She needs to hear, I'm her husband. I need to say, Anakari, I love you. Anakari, Joy, Laseth, Johnson. When it comes down to it, God at work through love and through community, it all is in the specifics. Amen? Amen. And so that's what God does in baptism, is God calls Mackenzie by name. God calls all of us by name to remember, para recordar que somos amados, salvados. Específicamente, Dios nos llama a caminar en nuevas vidas, en nueva gracia por nuestra vida ahora. That God calls us to live in that renewal of our baptism. So I'm so thankful here, just in a few moments, to lift up a couple of lines from this service. And the first line I want to lift up is from the song that Mackenzie chose for this occasion, Oceans, that has a line that goes, your grace abounds in deepest waters. On the occasion of her baptism, she chose the line, your grace abounds in deepest waters. Isn't that right? The waters of baptism are deep, deeper than our sin, deeper than the pain and conflict we inflict on each other all too often. No matter what has gone down, we all today with Mackenzie have the opportunity to go down into the waters of our baptism and to note how deep these waters are. Because you know what these waters do? They make us family. They make us family. And I want you to shed whatever your concept of the human family is, because God's concept of family is not some of our human ideas about family. It changes the dynamic when we recognize ourselves as part of God's family. When I heard Mackenzie in El Salvador say, now I can see what the family of Jesus can do. We're gathered in the grace of God, prepared by a supportive community, and then sent as God's siblings, brothers and sisters, hermanos y hermanos, todos juntos para hacer una diferencia en el mundo, to make a difference in the world. And yes, when disagreement comes, sometimes there's a conflict in the church. I know that might be a shock to you. Okay, some of you are not shocked. When disagreement comes, we do not enter that moment of disagreement without resources. What if we picture even the moments of conflict as that we're all waiting in this water called baptism? What if we picture that since Jesus said where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there among them, that even if I'm just talking to one other person, we're not alone, amen? Jesus is in that room, helping us to go to that person who we're feeling hurt or disappointment or disillusionment with and say, I need to tell you, this hurt me. Let's work it out. If I feel nervous about that conversation, I bring another person in and say, hey, I know you love both me and this person that I am really disappointed with. Can you help me with this? I know that Jesus gives us a second step and a third step, and sometimes they are necessary, but I've been a pastor long enough, not that I know everything. 95% of the time, not if you agree, if you take that first step, 95% of the time, the second and third step is not needed. Because you can talk it out, you can work it out. And that is what the gift of baptism gives us. And I want you to prayerfully consider in these next few moments as we move to the prayers and a song, is there someone, this is where it gets hard, right? Is there someone you need to reach out to? In the church, beyond the church. In your family, beyond the family. Oh, it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. But every family and every church, I see nodding heads. You know who it is that after a few moments of prayer, you might be ready to call, ready to reach out to. Of course, try to make it face-to-face. Para reunirse cara a cara con alguien que quiere experimentar una reconciliación. But you want to experience a reconciliation with that person, and because you'll experience healing within you and healing within the community. So as I close, because Cameron, you're in this too. Mackenzie already preached a wonderful sermon, amen. I almost feel bad trying to add on to that sermon. I express deep gratitude for what God has done in your life and through your life to bring you to this point. Mackenzie Trevero. God first worked through Cameron to invite you to El Salvador. In El Salvador, you realize what the family of Jesus can do. And now God has brought you to the family of Pilgrim Lutheran Church and School. And you've already started to share your gifts, your talents, and all of us are encouraged by what God is doing through you and through all of us to be the expression of the reign of God for this time and in this place. In a few moments, we're going to hand you a candle. Yeah, you look nervous. No, just don't put it back to your hair. But a lit candle that is, we'll say Matthew 5:16. Those of you that know the verse, help me out. Let your light so shine before others, so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. And whenever I hear that verse, I often think of the famous, famous words. And I know this is a famous quote. If you've heard it over and over again, it's one of those quotes I'll bring back over and over again because it's just that good. Marianne Williamson once wrote, this is a prayer for you, Mackenzie, and everyone. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel secure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Mackenzie, let your light shine. Pilgrim Lutheran Church and School and everyone within the hearing of my voice, keep letting your light shine as the family of God. Amen.